evening. Thank you, Ephraim. I'm actually not going to speak. I just wanted to introduce one of our students. The Talmud teaches us, the author of the Mishnah, Rebbe, says, I've learned a lot from my rabbis, my teachers, more from my colleagues, and the most from our students. In Tel Aviv, the students are amazing and are inspiration. And this one student I'm going to introduce tonight, Shira Kaplan, will tell you a little bit about Tel Aviv and has taught us the message of Bishvili Nivra Ha'olam. One of the things I'm working on with Rav Shalom Schwartz, that the world was created for me and I could help change the world. And I just want to introduce Shira Kaplan, one of our students. Thank you.
So thank you very much, everyone, for being here tonight. And thank you, Rabbi David, a close friend. My name is Shira Kaplan. I'm 26. I'm from Israel, from Herzliya, just outside Tel Aviv. And despite the fact I'm 26 and I've been involved with Aish Tel Aviv for the past year almost, I'm still not married, so I'm still working on it. Bezrat Hashem, this will happen soon. Just a little bit about myself. I grew up in Herzliya, went to high school in Italy for 2 years, then served in the IDF's intelligence corps in the unit known as 8200, 8200 for those of you who know, and just recently graduated from Harvard undergrad with a degree in government. I was very active in politics there, pro-Israeli hasbara, and very involved with the Jewish community there. I am, excuse me for 1 second, a little bit excited. I'm very humbled to be here tonight, not only because we're honoring a visionary and a leader like Shai Agassi, who's a real sort of inspiring person in the Israeli business sort of arena, but also because I wanted to share with you why I feel luckier than most of my Tel Avivi non-religious friends. So, just briefly, I grew up in a family that is non-religious, an Ashkenazi non-religious family in Herzliya. But really, we would often have Shabbat dinners almost every Friday, but never have a real kiddush. And the first time I really had the experience of having a kiddush was when I was 14 years old, and that happened in a summer camp in the United States. So I had to travel, 10,000 miles to really have the first Var Torah given to me and the first, sing the first brachas. The second time I had a kiddush when I was 18 years old, and that happened in my military base in the south of Israel. And that's where I sang Eshet Chayil for the first time. And the third time was when I was 22, and again that happened in the States at Harvard. So, you think about it, and it kind of strikes you that there's something, fundamentally ironic about, having a Jewish, girl from a, okay, educated family from Herzliya, who only gets exposed to this kind of Jewish life at the age of 20, but not only that, also has to go through this in the U.S. and not in Israel. And so, that kind of struck me as I was sort of preparing for this evening and reflecting on what I was going to say, because a lot of times I think about it that, we non-religious Tel Avivis, Israelis, we tend to take our Judaism for granted a lot of times. And if we need to send our kids all the way to the U.S. to become more religious and more observant, we're going wrong somewhere. At the end of the day, my grandfather came to this country because he was Jewish, and his father had been murdered in the Holocaust because he was Jewish. And I speak Hebrew because I'm Jewish. So there's really no reason whatsoever for me not to feel the sense of religiousness and to celebrate my Judaism in my own country. And I think this is really where Aish Tel Aviv fits in and sort of comes to play. Aish is pretty much the right organization with the right people in the right place at the right time. Aish says pretty much that if Tel Avivis don't go to Judaism, then we'll bring Judaism to them. Much like they say about, Muhammad and the mountain, or at least we say that, they say that in Hebrew. And I got involved with Aish last year through a very close American friend of mine. And ever since, I've been really sort of trying to bring more of my non-religious friends to Aish. So just a couple of weeks ago, for example, or last week, Rabbi David and I were sitting with 6 of my friends at a cafe in Tel Aviv, and just chatting and hanging out. But also, Rabbi David gave a Dvar Torah, which was sort of very powerful. And as soon as he got up and left, my friend sort of jumped at me and said, okay, so, when's the next event? When can we get involved? And how can we get involved with Aish? When's the next Shabbat dinner? So really, Rabbi David and his wife, Efrat, and Rabbi Yoni Kaiman, who also runs the program, have been amazing at reaching out and really revolutionizing sort of slowly and gradually, the city of Tel Aviv. What they did first is they reached out to the Anglo-American community there. There's a big Anglo-American community in Tel Aviv, and later on to the business community. And finally, they're trying to crack the real tough cookies, which are, non-religious Sabra Tel Avivis, like myself and my friends. And they've been doing I think a pretty amazing job. So just quickly, last 2 points about Aish Tel Aviv. There's one sort of debate I've been having with David about branding Aish Tel Aviv to secular Tel Aviv. I mean, it might not sort of be obvious to you, but the name Aish HaTorah could sometimes be slightly daunting to non-religious people. So one thing I've been telling him is we need to work on our branding. And the second thing I think they've been doing amazingly well is really trying to reach out, sort of leverage the power of social networks. Social networking is a really strong theme in Tel Aviv, and David has really realized that if you build communities around themes like policy and business communities, and instill Jewish values in these communities, then you're going to really be able to attract these young people and do well. So this is just very a brief sort of glimpse into a life of a non-religious but an Aish activist in Tel Aviv. You have to remember that while everybody else around me, my friends, what they do is, they hang out, they chat on the Facebook and, watch reality TV shows. I feel lucky because I have Aish. I can go to Shabbat dinners, I can do chavrusa. I have weekly classes if I want to go, and it's really a tremendous job that they're doing there. So I just wanted to really thank you for coming here and for supporting Aish, and just really encourage you to support Aish even more, to make more of my friends just as lucky. So thank you very much.